Alrighty, we are here. We're back. Sorry for the dark screen. I left my coffee out in the other room, and look, we ain't doing a show without coffee, man. We've done it before. It ain't easy. But welcome back to the Bald Brad Show, where we cover all the news that you need to know about heading into your work day, heading into your work week. We're going to keep you at times, sometimes years ahead of the news cycle, if not months, most likely. But appreciate everybody here joining me on my channels over at Rumble, YouTube, X, Kick, everywhere. But appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, let's jump right in the news today. Actually, no, before that, can I just ask a question in the chat? Why does coffee taste different no matter where you're at? Do you know what I mean? I might be wrong, but if you go camping and you have a cup of coffee, it's brisk outside, it's cold, you're outside, but you're like, I'm hanging out in the wilderness. It hits different, it tastes different, and life is different. I don't know why. There's some sort of psychology behind it. If you know the reason, let me know. But everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody knows if you get coffee and you're out camping, chef's kiss. Okay. And it could be, terrible coffee. One moment. Hold on a second. Woo! I got to sneeze. I'm alive. All right. Thank you. Oh, Brad, how unprofessional. All right, here we go. Let's break into the news here. There's a couple stories. We got some upgrades here in terms of what China's producing in their military. And by upgrades, I mean, China's military parade, it's just a bunch of kids with toy guns. Let's be real. Well, China hosted a record-setting military parade in Beijing on Wednesday, showcasing new advanced weaponry. You think they created that, or do you think they just stole it from us? And deepening its ties with American adversaries like Russia and North Korea. The parade, held on the 80th anniversary of China's victory over Japan in World War II, featured tens of thousands of troops marching through Tiananmen Square. The same Tiananmen Square that they tried to delete in terms of their history. The same Tiananmen Square that they still said, and to this day say, that it never happened. Yeah, okay. China flaunted new hypersonic missiles that probably don't work, long-range drones, and stealth fighters for the first time. Again, none of which they probably created themselves. They probably stole all that IP. How is it that you, as a country, I mean, look at Chinese people are very strong. I got nothing against them. But their government, how is it that you're so boastful, but at the same time, you haven't developed anything since gunpowder? And they just steal everything. The event was attended by the leaders of 26 countries, including Russia's Vladimir Putin. This one got me yesterday, right? We showed this at the tail end of yesterday's show. North Korea's Kim Jong-un showed up. Yeah, they got that guy. Really? The guy's like a flea, you know what I mean? He's just a flea. I mean, it makes sense with Putin because at least that guy has nukes. I mean, allegedly so does North Korea. But I'm not so sure they can get those nukes off the ground. I mean, they couldn't even get a ship to float on water. Let that sink in. We're in 2025 and North Korea couldn't even get a ship to float on water. Incredible. No, powerful. What a statement. What a statement that you got that guy next to you. Couldn't even sail a boat. Let's bring this guy out. That's all they got. Yeah. Jeez, talking about scraping at the bottom of the barrel to have somebody powerful next to you. Yeesh. All right, well, let's get past that one. That's not so much news, but always love ragging on the Chinese whenever I can. I love them, but I wish they would turn themselves around and join the rest of the world and not manipulating your currency, not subsidizing everything, not having people in concentration camps. It's funny how they legitimately put people in concentration camps, and then we actually make places for people, have air conditioning, Xboxes, plasma TVs, like these encampments for illegal aliens, and you have the progressive left that's going to call those things concentration camps. I mean, so you have actual death camps, concentration camps in China and North Korea, right? But then the death camps and concentration camps, they're two different things, actually, that we have here, according to the progressive left. These people are getting, again, air conditioning. We showed the video of it, by the way. Air conditioning, plasma TVs. I know they're not plasma anymore. They're like OLED, QLED, whatever. They're getting Xboxes, phone services, laundry services. They actually got a 3-course meal that was a revolving menu. This one really blew me away. It was a revolving menu that was specifically catered to whatever culture they were coming from. Folks, we don't even get that as Americans in our own household. Whatever mom made, you're eating for like the next week. You know, my mom, she's probably watching the show. She made freaking tuna. I got these freaking casseroles all the damn time. Me and my dad were like, damn it, enough with the casseroles, because they're easy to make. I get it. You're working all day as an older person. I get it now. But, you know, when you're eating casserole for an entire week, every week, you're just enough with the casseroles. You sound like Jerry Seinfeld. I was in B-movie. All righty. Well, European speech laws under fire after comedian's arrest. This is crazy, and it just builds more credibility, folks, that not only has London fallen, but the United Kingdom has fallen. And I was thinking about this in the shower today. That's clearly where I do most of my thinking. This is not something that you come back from, folks, in like a year. What is going on over there in Europe is not a 2-year thing. This is like a decades-long cleanup if you were to start it today. Meaning, I think most of this either is never going to get fixed, it's actually going to get worse, and you are watching the collapse of Europe in front of our eyes, or they are going to fix it, and it's going to happen when, you know, I'm 65 and retired. For some of you, I hate to say it, I love you, and I hope you live till you're 130, but you know, you might not see Europe ever be Europe again. I mean, how the hell is it that you go from like, I mean, mostly we're talking about Germany, but you know, there's other people that are part of the Axis in World War II that were over there. How do you go from like World War I and then World War II to today and you still can't get the shit together? You know what I mean? Like how many mistakes you got to make in like 100 years? The recent arrest, check this out. The recent arrest of an Irish comedian in London over an X post. This guy made a social media post. He's a comedian. He made in the United States. The guy posted in the United States has thrust Europe's draconian speech laws into the spotlight, with U.S. lawmakers now warning of a censorship regime that threatens Americans. Yeah, because this guy got in some big trouble here. Laws like the EU's Digital Services Act and the UK's Online Safety Act, and this is why I'm worried about Shib, by the way. If nobody knows who Shib is a patriot that's been a longtime supporter of my channel for years, and he's MIA at the moment, and he lives in the UK. And so that's why I'm a little worried for the guys, because stuff like this. He posts online with us. He doesn't post online, but he posts in the chat, and my worry is that they've seen some of the stuff he's posted, and the guy's gone. Laws like the EU's Digital Services Act and the Online Safety Act hold tech companies accountable for hate speech and disinformation. Look at this. With the threat of massive fines, effectively forcing American companies to export European censorship rules globally. So basically, if like my company here, if this was ever to reach the UK and I was in theory doing business in the UK, then this would apply. Isn't that crazy? Hate speech and disinformation. We would have had this happen to us. We would have had this happen to us if Joe Biden or Kamala Harris won again. Like this, how do I know that? You guys, the DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas under the Biden administration was the one that was pushing this as well. He was peddling this. They wanted to put, it was called the Ministry of Truth is what they were trying to put in. Y'all remember that? And then, we're going to go after misinformation, disinformation, hate speech. That was promulgated by the Democrat Party for 4 years. For 4 years, and they wanted to do this stuff. They still want to do it. Yeah, it's okay to, this was commented by you guys in the chat when we were talking about burning the American flag. Yeah, it's hate speech if you burn the trans flag, but it's just free speech if you burn the American flag. Oh, got it. Yeah, no, that's not ass backwards at all. Gotcha. That's twisted. It's pretzeled. The issue came to a head this week with the arrest of an Irish comedian, Graham Linehan, at Heathrow Airport, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, for posts critical of the transgender movement that he had made while in the United States. So they got this guy at the airport for a post that he made here. Now, in a U.S. House hearing on Wednesday, Nigel Farage warned this could happen to any American or woman that goes to this airport that has said things online that the British government and the British police did not like. So it looks like, we'll come back to this, it looks like that I can't go to Europe right now because, well, I've said a lot of things online. It's no different than, I guess I can't go to, I don't know, I can't go to China either. So here he is.
Reacquaint with the charming Mr. Raskin. That was delightful testimony you gave me earlier on with your speech. But hey, that's fine. You can say what you like. I don't care. Because that's what free speech is. And in a sense, this has all been going wrong now for a couple of decades. We've kind of forgotten the Voltairean principles that we'll fight and defend to the death your right to say something that we fundamentally disagree with.
This is almost a 5-minute clip. I hate to tell you guys, I wasn't going to watch the whole thing. I am now. This looks good.
It is the absolute foundation, if you think about it, of free speech, of democracy, of living in freedom. It's kind of why we fought 2 world wars at massive, massive cost to defend that very principle for ourselves and for many, many others around the country. And I first became worried about all this with cancel culture. You know, the idea that we can't have this speaker go to a university because some people might be offended by what he or she have to say. It is important to note that there is not a parent in the United Kingdom, and I would guess it's the same for America too, that is not concerned about content their children as minors can find on the internet. Not a single parent that is not concerned about this. But at the moment, we're not finding the right.
Then why give them a phone? Why give them a laptop? No, I'm serious. Like, I understand there's ways to get around that, but all I'm saying is you could still give them a phone. You do not need to give them a smartphone. Folks, all of us grew up without phones. It's amazing how all this stuff that's happening today was happening when we were kids. Just want to point out, you can get a prepaid phone. They still have those old school flip phones that you can still buy your kid that will just work just as fine as a smartphone. You get it right a hold of them. You do not need to do one where they can go on like all these corn websites and stuff like that, and you know, sex these girls and all this other stuff. You just get them a flip phone, get them one of those old school phones. And by the way, it'd be cheaper. Just let you know.
Solutions. I do myself begin to think that hardware might be one of the solutions. That laptops, that handsets could be programmed so that many, many apps and many, many services simply aren't available from these devices. But what we've done is to go down the legislative route. And it's extraordinary that, you know, I come from the land of Magna Carta. I come from the land that gave us the mother of parliaments. And it doesn't give me any great joy to be sitting in America and describing the really awful authoritarian situation that we have now sunk into.
Big time.
J.D. Vance did us all a service at the Munich Security Conference back in February this year. He really got this debate up and running, and it's a vital one. We've run on the...
And he got a lot of heat for that. Do y'all remember when J.D. Vance was talking to them about free speech, Western civilization? I mean, J.D. is a guy you don't want to mess with, not only in debates, but the guy is sharp, man, and he's smart. He got a lot of heat for bringing that up. And here we are months later, and look what they're doing and have been doing. Locking people up for saying things they don't like. I mean, this is some Orwellian 1984 callback that's happening right now. And it's very, very scary that it's happening to one of our allies. Again, you are watching, and I really do mean this, you guys. Please understand, I'm not trying to be an alarmist, an extremist. I really do believe this. You are seeing the fall of United Kingdom in real time. And this would have happened to us if not for Donald Trump. And I hope our brothers and sisters over there in the UK, because we got to rely on them, man. When bleep hits the fan, it was always us storming the beaches with them. I hope they turn it around.
Since then, the Online Safety Act was put in place by the last Conservative government. I don't doubt for a minute they're good intentions, but sometimes the road to hell is paved with those good intentions. And we are now where we are. We have a couple of very famous cases. We, of course, have Lucy Connolly, who put out an intemperate tweet after the savage murder of those three beautiful young girls, she herself, a mother who had lost a child. It was intemperate, it was wrong, but she removed it 3.5 hours later, sentenced to 31 months in prison. She's now out, having served 40% of the time. I wanted to bring her with me today as living proof of what can go wrong. Sadly, the restrictions that have been put on her banned her from making the trip, which is a very, very great shame. And we, of course, have the extraordinary events that we understood yesterday of Graham Linehan, the comedic writer, and he put out some tweets months ago when he was in Arizona, and months later he arrives at Heathrow Airport to be met by 5 armed police. Armed police, not a big deal in the USA, a very big deal in the United Kingdom. 5 of them. And he was arrested and taken away for questioning. He's not even a British citizen. He's an Irish citizen. This could happen to any American man or woman that goes to Heathrow that has said things online that the British government and British police don't like. Yep. It is a potentially big threat to tech bosses, to many, many others. This legislation we've got will damage trade between our countries, threaten free speech across the West because of the knock-on roll-out effects of this legislation from us or from the European Union. So I've come today as well to be a klaxon, to say to you, don't allow, piece by piece, this to happen here in America. And you would be doing us and yourselves and all freedom-loving people a favor if your politicians and your businesses said to the British government, you've simply got this wrong. At what point did we become North Korea? Well, I think the Irish comedy writer found that out 2 days ago at Heathrow Airport. This is a genuinely worrying, concerning, and shocking situation. And I thank you for the opportunity to come here today.
Thank you. And by the way, I don't think Democrats have a problem with this on what's going on over there in the UK. I don't think they care one bit. Look at this. Thank you for being so weak and stupid. Together we will make this country ours. Talk about handing your country over in a silver platter. And like I mentioned, and I'll mention it again, I don't care till I'll beat a dead horse with it. This is what Democrats wanted to happen to our nation, is tear the fabric of this country, is the analogy that I used to use for years. Now, a tear you can mend. A tear you can fix. You could stitch it up real quick. It might take some time. It might take some resources. And what is that time? The next 4 years under Donald Trump. What are those resources? Well, it's called the enforcement of the United States military as well as CBP and others to deport all these people that are here illegally trying to change our country. They don't want to assimilate into our country. They don't want to follow the rules. Well, how do we know they don't want to follow the rules? They don't want to follow the rules in the first place. So if they don't want to follow the rules in the first place, and the smallest of things of coming over here legally, what makes you think they're going to follow the rules anywhere else? Furthermore, we can actually fix that. But when the whole thing is torn in half, well, it's GG at that point. You don't have enough resources. You don't have enough time, nor do you have the willpower because, well, the person that would have mended is gone. And who are those people that's supposed to mend their own country? Well, the actual people there. And sooner or later, they ain't going to be there anymore. And that's what's happening here over in the UK. Here's a funny one. You're under arrest for posting on X. Isn't that crazy? We live in 2025 and people are being arrested for a post they made on social media. Now, there are times where I would say if you are legitimately threatening somebody's life to, X them, no pun intended, then yeah, I think I'm a little bit for that. But if you're making some sort of satirical post, really most posts in general, like 99.9% of posts, you have a right to do it. But this is what's happening. You're seeing the fall of it. You're seeing the fall in real time. Oh, look at the kitties. That's fun. All righty. Well, in other news, Trump weighs crime crackdown in New Orleans. Oh, baby. Mr. President, I know what you did in D.C. is great. I know what you did and I love it. But I need you to go to Chicago. Please go to Chicago. Look, New Orleans could be somewhere else down the list. I am waiting, sir, as are all the patrons in the chat. Please, Mr. President. Like, what's today? By next Monday, can we just start storming into Chicago? And I want streaming left and right. We'll be here 24/7 if we have to. I want to see in the roughest of areas. That's where I want like you have the projects. You know what I mean? It's just completely dilapidated. Nobody cares, right? There's just crime everywhere. The streets haven't been cleaned up in years, if not decades, right? There's just tagging all over the buildings. It's so crime ridden that grass doesn't really grow there. Nobody actually plants new seeds. You know how cheap it is to go to Lowe's, by the way, and just sprinkle some seeds on the ground and allow like nature to water it just so you have grass. You literally don't have to do anything. You just have to go out there and just spread seed on the ground. And it will grow. Can't even do that. That's how terrible the projects are in some of these like inner cities. They can't even grow grass correctly. Get them in there, and we can have a nice, beautiful area that is controlled by the National Guard, and hopefully those people flourish, which is all I want. See, yeah, I'm talking a little bit of crap, but it does blow your mind, right? That usually it's the people that live there. It doesn't matter race. It matters who lives there, because it's always somebody else's fault as to why they live there. Like, you can move. That's one thing. Move. Be cheaper to go somewhere else. But anyways, that's not what this is about. It's about crime. And after touting the success in DC crime crackdown, President Trump said he is weighing where to go next. Do we go to Chicago? Yes, sir, please. Or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a governor, Jeffrey Landry, who wants us to come in? I get the dilemma now. I understand the dilemma. Where do you guys want him to go? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you want him to go to Chicago next, or a 2 in the chat if he should go to New Orleans, since New Orleans is asking for it. I would say a 3, maybe both, but the 3 is not an option. Don't do 3. 3 is not an option. I would say both. 1 or 2. Again, 1 is Chicago, 2 is New Orleans. You let me know. The offer comes as leaders in Illinois continue to claim there is no crisis in Chicago. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, nothing to see here. Just dead bodies everywhere. What is wrong with Democrats and gaslighting everybody? Come on. Does anybody believe that, really? Hold on, let me read that again. That was fun. The offer comes as leaders in Illinois claim there's no crisis in Chicago. Sure. What is with these psychos? What are with these people? Oh, they did it for 4 years. The border wasn't a crisis either. Millions of people poured across the border with drugs and weapons and sex trafficking and selling children off in the forced labor. No crisis, just a challenge, just a situation. That's all it is. Yeah. It's embedded in the Democrat blood, I guess. The president's absurd characterizations do not match what is happening on the ground here. Oh, by the governor. It's so echoed. Gavin Newsom does the same thing, right? Everything's fine. All those buildings burning ablaze, right? There's people throwing rocks at police officers, harassing them. People are shooting each other left and right. Gavin Newsom will tell you there's not a homeless problem in LA County. And he'll do it they're so bold now because they know they can just gaslight the crap out of their own party. They're so bold with this stuff that they will legitimately be standing in front of a homeless encampment with a guy shooting up a needle, another guy defecating right behind him, just with his pants down, just crapping on the cement. And he will tell you that it's not a problem and that it's Trump's fault that this is where it's at. So it's not a problem, but the problem is caused by Trump's fault, but there was no problem in the first place that you even need to bring out some sort of cleanup to get rid of the stuff that's going on. No, I know it's asked backward. Trust me, I get it. I'm just relaying what they say and how it doesn't make sense, but I know I'm preaching to the choir. His comments came after a Labor Day weekend in Chicago, this is wild, that saw 9 people deleted and 52 wounded in shootings. Just shootings alone. Folks, that doesn't include stabbings. That doesn't include armed robberies. Can you imagine just what the crime numbers look like just in Chicago? Just curious, any of you going to Chicago for vacation? Yeah, hey, honey, where do you want to go this weekend? Let's just be, let's be young again. Let's play hooky on work and let's get some plane tickets. And where do you want to go? You know what I mean? Is anybody going, Chicago? I would love to go to Chicago. Oh, I want to get a hot dog or a pizza. I want that deep dish pizza. Let's be young again. That was the funny part. If you meant that was the funny part. President Trump's ability to intervene in blue cities was dealt a blow this week when a Clinton-appointed judge in San Francisco, of course, not only was it a Clinton-appointed judge, But it's also in San Francisco, ruled against the use of the National Guard to protect ICE agents from rioters in Los Angeles. Because let's be fair, these Democrat judges, these rogue judges, want to see these agents deleted. That's what they want. They won't admit it. They won't say it with their words because they can't, right? It's too crazy. Some point they will. There used to be a lot of things the Democrat Party wouldn't say, but now they're just saying out loud, oh, well, they always ask, right? Well, give us some examples. Because again, they can't use their keyboard. This thing right here, they can't use a keyboard to maybe go and research and use artificial intelligence as access to basically every single document that's ever been posted to figure out, well, what possibly, maybe this guy might be right. What possibly could Democrats have said in the past that was really manipulated and kind of you had to read between the lines, but now they're just outspoken. And then they rely on you as a content creator to do the work for them because they can't get up off the couch and actually do anything for themselves. And then what they're going to do about all that is when something bad happens to them, who they blame Donald Trump because they couldn't get up off the couch. I don't know, maybe get a job or I don't know, do something like research yourself. But here's an example. I don't know, wanting the president of the United States to be deleted. Yeah, that's one. That is just one that comes off the top of the head. I mean, before you wouldn't have said anything like that. I mean, for decades, since the founding of this country, nobody really pushed for, in a mass scale, the president of the United States to be deleted. But now they're just so free to do it online. It is crazy. But see, those people won't be arrested in the UK. A comedian that posts some stuff online that's satirical and supposed to be slightly funny, and if not that bad, see, he gets arrested. But if you're calling for presidents and world leaders to be deleted, nothing happens to you. Not a big deal. It's okay. Yeah, let's push it even more. Come on. That's how things are. Everything is A backwards. And ASS is what I'm talking about. Well, let's talk about this really quick. There's an opinion piece by Matt Walsh regarding Democrats panic as Trump kills narco terrorists and stops violent crime. Before we jump into that, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate your support here on the show. We're a one-man show, and there's no producers. There's nothing. It's just me and the people that volunteer their time to moderate. Again, shout out to the moderators. Thank you so much for always helping, keeping control of crazies in the chat. They don't remove anybody. I can't remember the last time we removed somebody. I think somebody was spamming the chat one time. That was like a month or two ago. But other than that, we only get rid of those people that are shouting racist things and just, you can't do that because you're going to get me deplatformed. See, if we had free speech, I suppose you could. I don't want it here. I don't like racism. I don't like people saying racist stuff, but they have a right to say it, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it's I don't think you should be saying things like that, but you have a right. So, all righty, here we go. Democrats panic again as Trump kills narco terrorists. By the way, this video got flagged yesterday by YouTube. So if you go watch my stream that I posted yesterday, our live, you will not see this video anymore. I had to take it out. Frustrating. I mean, it's an awesome video. That's why we do Dark MAGA, by the way, and that Dark MAGA is usually a lot better on Rumble Premium because I could just do whatever I want. I can go crazy. You have to imagine there are more than a few panicked conversations going on this evening over the headquarters of Tren de Agua, the Venezuelan gang that routinely traffics drugs into the country and takes over apartment complexes in places like Colorado, and then utilizes the mainstream media, the Democrat Party, to tell you it's not happening. Even though there's residents with their phones, right? They're going like this. Oh my God, the guy is taking grandma across the way. Nancy was so nice. Nancy was so nice. There she goes. Bye, Nancy. Right? And then they take over the apartment complex with the guns. And Democrats are going to tell you that the video's cheap fakes, deep fakes. Well, who said that? Karine Jean-Pierre. Y'all heard it. We clipped it. Well, as you have seen, 7 months after the Trump administration designated Tren de Agua as a foreign terrorist organization, which they are, the U.S. military just blew up one of the gang's drug boats as it sped towards the United States. There was no warning. The Coast Guard didn't try to take them into custody. You know what it means by warning? There's no round off the bow. You know, like Biden and all these other guys like to do. No. I said the warning is there is no warning. That's the video. Everybody could see this video now. This is your warning. Yeah. The warning is if you do it, this is your outcome. There's no, hey, just could you stop doing that, please, with your 4 outboard motors, by the way? Yes, if you're looking at that's 4 outboard motors on this freaking canoe. That's a fast boat, by the way. That thing on a glassy ocean, that thing is hauling you know what. And you don't just put, I can't even, I don't know if I've ever seen a boat with 4 outboard motors. I have never seen a boat like this with 4 outboard motors. That's for damn sure. That's crazy. Well, that's your warning. You get blown to smithereens. You want to try it. You want to F around and find out. And I hope there's another one by tomorrow. By today. Post them all, please, Mr. President, because I don't want any of this happening. Probably so many lives were saved because of this. Thank you. Well, after a decade of having open access to the United States, the development had to be quite a shock for the Tren de Aragua. Oh, how'd this happen? Oh, my God. Like, who would have thought this? And then the outrage by them, right? And the outrage by the Democrats. Oh, my God, how could Trump do this? He did it. This is not he can't do this. This is authoritarian. Not the people selling drugs illegally and bringing them and killing your children and people's husbands and their wives and all that stuff, destroying people's families. Don't want to talk about that. Let's go after Orange Badman for saving people. Gotcha. No, it's not ass backwards whatsoever. It makes total sense. Until now, the absolute worst case scenario is that they might get detained very briefly and maybe have to answer a question or two about why they're heading to the United States on a boat with 4 outboard motors. Thank you. He finally called it out. And millions of dollars worth of narcotics. And Democrats like Joey would be like, so what's under the hood there, bud? Oh, you're selling a little bit of a little dopey dope, huh? A little Wowzer sauce. Oh, okay. Well, if you give some to Hunter, I'll let you come in for free. Yeah. To do business. Billions of dollars. Well, and then some NGOs, armed with tax dollar commandeered by the Democrat Party, would jump into action and spring them loose. Gee, isn't that exactly what I just said? Me and Matt Walsh are on the same page here. I'm telling you what, me and the guys at the Daily Wire, we seem to get it together. I don't know why, but I seem to get along with them very well. We're always on the same page. As Ivy League academics demanded that we respect, look at this. I got to zoom in. You guys are going to love this. You're going to love this part. Look at it. They demanded that we respect their civil liberties. They don't have to respect us. They don't have to respect your family. They don't have to respect your borders, your laws, your creeds, your values, anything. But boy, oh boy, do we have to bend over backwards and get reamed from behind and from the front constantly. And Democrats, we know they love that stuff. We've seen the stuff they promulgate and push. They love that. But that's not the theme of today's article nor show. But that's what happens this time. Instead, the NGOs and academics, that's not what happened this time. Instead, the NGOs and the academics weren't given any time to intercede on behalf of Tren de Aragua because that missile blowed them to smithereens. Federal judges weren't even given the opportunity either. There's simply no chance that a federal judge with a name out of Star Wars movie can issue any kind of injunction at this point, ordering the Trump administration to form a dive team and a piece of these dead bodies back together. It just won't work. Well, yeah, because they're missed. And you know what? I don't understand what's going on with these environmentalists. Why is there not a public service announcement for Donald Trump saving the fish? Why? So what's going to happen here? Yeah, there's a little bit of oil and gas in the water. They'll dissipate. What I'm talking about here is Donald Trump is saving the fish's lives. The guy's doing remarkable work for the environment. I'll tell you what, he just chummed the waters. 8 bodies, grown bodies, the amount of protein and chumming of the waters that he just did out there. Think about all the fish that got fed. Really? Yeah, I know. I mean, they're going to be cracked out of their mind like Hunter Biden. I mean, they're going to be having the time of their lives for a while. But in terms of the bodies that were there, just remarkable, incredible. Thank you, Mr. President, for saving the fish and feeding the environment. Yep. And then what's going to happen to the boat? Well, that will sink. And then hopefully we get a nice reef out of it or something. Nice little home for these fish that were just fed. Now he's housing things. It's unbelievable. I mean, Joey housed illegal immigrants. Donald Trump houses the environment, meaning the fish. The guy's making not just Earth great again, but he's making specifically the ocean great again. What can't this guy do? I'm such a smart ass. Jeez. As you might expect, our moral superiors aren't happy about any of this, and how a one-time Princeton professor, self-styled human rights advocate, sure, they're always, look, I've always called them their activist teachers or activist professors. You could do a show like, I'm not an activist in the classroom. I don't want to talk about politics at all. As a matter of fact, this is the only time I really do talk about politics with people. These are activists in the classroom. These are activists on these campuses. They're not teachers. They're not professors. That's their job, is indoctrinate your kids. My job is to indoctrinate your kids in, I don't know, statistics or finance, things like that. My job isn't to raise them. It's your job. A guy named Kenneth Roth responded to the destruction of the drug boat. Here we go. Let's see what this Princeton Ivy League professor that thinks they're better than everybody because they have a PhD because they can read a book and take a test. Thinks about this. Drug trafficking is a crime, not an act of war. Traffickers must be arrested, not summarily executed, which U.S. forces just did illegally. Just what a bunch of wisdom. Intellectual. And people are paying $100,000, $200,000 for a 4-year education from this guy. Can you believe it? To go to Princeton. This is what you get it from Princeton. While some of his, by the way, while some of his own kids in his own classroom over there at Princeton are being deleted because of these drugs themselves by overdosing. Yeah, no genius. So there were dozens of posts like this, all of them complaining about the destruction of a boat full of drug traffickers. I told you they'll come out in the masses and totally be in support of this whole thing. The Trump administration didn't respond to many or if any of these posts. Instead, one by one, the official accounts of various officials and departments in the administration, including Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Rapid Response Team, posted footage of the boat exploding, which we showed here. This was going viral yesterday. So Peter Doocy in this picture up here wasn't showing Donald Trump this video. He was showing Donald Trump what's alleged to be the AI video of somebody throwing a bag out of the window of the White House. But somebody took this and created AI with them showing Donald Trump the footage of eliminating terrorists. So shout out to Peter Doocy for being kind of manipulated. This is a cheap fake deep fake, by the way. That's what this is. So that is legit. This is fake, but the video of it's real. So that's what took place there. Trump says they're going to Chicago to clean stuff up, but it's a problem. But that's what they want. The Democrats are just like, that's why we have a problem with youngsters, right? The entitlement of these kids, and they're just going out doing anything they want because it's always just a slap on the wrist. Nothing actually happens to them. They go to jail for like 2 minutes and then they're out because there's no cash bail. There's no real consequences. We need to bring consequences back to people again because then they're just going to keep doing it. You would hope that when you see a boat out there, it is a boat, it's not a ship, a boat blown to smithereens by the United States military, which, by the way, thank you, everybody serving and doing stuff like that, saving lives. Appreciate you. Maybe they'll think twice about going out there and doing something because Daddy Trump's watching. I kind of like it. Now, can we do that with the Houthis as well, please? So they're not going after our merchant vessels. We have the largest Navy on the entire planet. Can we maybe do that? That would be cool. That would be nice. So let's get to some other news here. This is going to be a little bit of a problem for midterms if he continues to push it, maybe. And hopefully Republicans aren't stupid enough about it. But Trump says Musk has no choice but to align with Republicans. Now, there is truth to that, and I hope that he does. But if Musk, after everything he says, if he thinks creating a third party is going to help his cause and help him out, after everything he said about the Democrat Party and the progressive left on how they're, basically, destroying this country with their ideology, probably not a good idea and is only going to lead to a victory for them. So he is kind of forced, again, no choice, but to align with us, whether he likes it or not. It would be no different than somebody trying to run as a conservative party. I am a conservative, but I understand what would happen. It's kind of like, well, do I go with the Republicans or do I go with the Democrats? Republicans are going to align more closely to me. I wish there was a conservative party that was big and had an opportunity to win. I would love that, but you got to deal in reality here. So Trump said that the tech tycoon and once close ally Elon Musk doesn't have a choice but to align with Republicans against the political left. And by the way, JD Vance and Elon Musk get along really, really well. So I think if JD was to run, and I think it'd be kind of foolish not to, I think Elon Musk would back him as well. The problem that's going to be with me, it's going to pull out my heartstrings and it's going to be a hard decision, is JD Vance and Marco Rubio. And then, if you got Vivek running, the bench is so deep and I like all three. Look, this is the possibility I think is going to happen. You're going to get JD Vance, Marco Rubio running. Then you're going to potentially get Vivek Ramaswamy. And then you're also going to get Ted Cruz. Dude, that lineup for me, who do you go with? Let me know in the chat. Would you go JD? I don't want the double ticket. I don't go, I want a JD Vance, Marco Rubio ticket. No. I'm talking about president, okay? I'm talking about president, all right? Would you go JD or Vance? Would you go Rubio, Ramaswamy, or Cruz? That's a tough one. That is a big time tough one. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, look at you. Look at y'all. Come on. Oh, stop it in the chat. Oh, you freaking kiss asses. Look at you. I knew you guys were going to go Vance. Oh, you freaking suckers. I love it. I knew everybody was going to go Vance. Look at you guys. I like Vance. Don't get me wrong. But man, Rubio. Okay, the reason why is I've asked this question before. You guys said you wanted a Vance Rubio ticket. I get it. Awesome, stellar ticket, by the way. I need to see more from JD. And the problem is he's kind of in a tough spot because he's just the vice president. There's nothing for him to really do other than stand there and just stand there and do speeches. I mean, his job is right to kind of repackage what the president's message is in probably a more sophisticated way. Donald Trump's very good at simplifying things and broadcasting it to the world, and where he could reach everybody, both the intellectual and the non-intellectual. I mean, there's a different range of people. It's not hounding on anybody. He's just very good at doing work in terms of making and packaging his ideas that is very broad. And then JD's Vance agenda and everybody else on his team is to refine it and make meaning and sense of it. And JD's good at that. Rubio's the one that's really putting a lot of the work here, man. That guy's busting his butt. Well, Trump made the prediction on the Scott Jennings show in an interview aired on Wednesday. The president said that Musk made a mistake in attacking the one big beautiful bill, but that he would be welcome back when he works out some problems. Trump just like compliments him, but also backhands him. But you know what? What's weird? You know that Trump really loves Elon. You could tell that Trump really, really loves Elon Musk, because if this was anybody else, man, Trump would be freaking just slapping them around. He would be having a nickname for them. He came in here acting like his D was bigger than mine. And so I threw him out on the floor. I said, unzip it, Elon. We're going to do this now. Zip, zip, and let's do it. Let's have a pissing contest. He's not saying anything bad. He just said, look, the guy has some problems. He popped off. The guy went crazy. And, that happens to the best of us. So I think he has a soft spot for Elon. And I like that, man. A little, he got along with them, and the guy just went crazy. Sad. Very sad. Look at he's got 80% super genius, and then he's got 20%. He got some problems. I think that's everybody, though, to be fair, right? I think we all got some problems. We all a little bit crazy. The question is, how much crazy do we have in us? Some of us are 50-50. Some of us have 80% crazy problems, and then the super genius is usually pretty low with a lot of us, isn't it? I'm not trying to beat all of it. Like I'm with you. I ain't no genius. I'm an idiot. I've always said it. I'm boastful about it. I'm not better than anybody on the chat. I'm not better than any of my followers. I'm not better than anybody at the Daily Wire or on social media. I'm an idiot. I'm an average Joe guy that just loves to do a show and talk stuff and make himself laugh and hang out with great people. That's what I love. I will never be one of those guys that goes, I know more than you. Let me talk about this topic and debate you. Now I'd get my butt kicked. At least I'm open about it. I'm self-aware. I'm big time self-aware. And by the way, you don't have to be smart to do social media. It's okay to go out and talk and just say whatever you want. And, probably, you're going to get things wrong. Welcome to normal people. Do you guys feel, let me know in the chat, do you feel like there's just not enough normal people on social media? I think that's what's lacking. It's just average Joe people just talking like me and going, yeah, this is what I think. Yeah, there's some entertainment here. There's a little bit of style, pizzazz, and energy. But other than that, it's I just think it's lacking, right? Because every time I watch some sort of social media personality, nothing against it. I think it's important to have these people. It's very important. But we don't have to break down every concept down to its core of how it weaves into the fabric of the country. And it's important that we have that, but not everybody needs to do that. We need just some average Joes out here just bringing some content. That's me. Well, let's see. We got some Scott Jennings clips. We have to do Scott Jennings before the show ends. You know how this rolls. It's nothing new. So Scott was on CNN. How is CNN still alive, dude? And I don't even know any Democrats that are still watching CNN at this point, really. I think Democrats are so beat up, they don't even know what to watch. They're probably watching paint dry that they just got done sniffing from the cartels that was mixed with some narcotics that came over from Trinidad. So here's Scott Jennings saying, I don't care how much you hate your political opponent. Wishing death upon the sitting president means you are a broken, brain dead SOB. So he's echoing this again.
Are you concerned about his health?
No, because I talked to him on the phone yesterday for 40 minutes. I talked to the president, interviewed him, and we had a wide-ranging conversation. And you know, he sounded fine to me. He covered a lot of topics. The things that were on his mind were tariffs, primarily. He was worried about the Supreme Court case that's coming up. He talked a lot about foreign affairs. He talked about immigration and talked about his political opposition. I mean, look, what I'm worried about are people making irresponsible statements and wish casting about the president's health. I watched a video yesterday of Tim Walz speaking in front of a group saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up to some great news, but it turns out he's still alive. But don't worry, one of these days we'll wake up to that news. Now, that is the governor of Minnesota, the Democratic candidate for vice president, wish casting the death of the president of the United States. I don't care how much you hate your political opponent, wishing death upon them and joking about it means you're a broken-brained SOB, and that's what he is.
God, you know, I really wish Scott, I mean, okay, he is basically working for the Trump administration, right? I mean, he's not, but he is. But man, I think he'd be a very good White House press secretary, man. He really, really would. This guy is good. And by the way, you see how he packages things, and he's normal about it. It's like common sense. There you go. It's just common sense what he says. And that's why he resonates with so many people. And this guy deserves all the success, man. He busts his butt. He speaks on behalf of average Joe Americans like us. We're not better than anybody else. And it's something that we all agree with usually. And, he has his own radio. I do wish nothing but the most success for Scott Jennings. The guy busts his butt. He's on CNN. He's doing a radio show. He's probably writing a book. Couldn't be more proud of him. And we'll continue to highlight him as much as possible. Not that it really, we're small. But you know what? We highlight the big fish. I hope one day that a big fish will highlight us. You know what I mean? You never know. We've been spotlighted in different places before, like Project Veritas in a positive manner. Or like we were highlighted when it came to the... what's that guy? There's a guy's name, that legend that posted us. Shout out to, I think it was Krager or somebody gave us a heads up on that one, that we were in that highlight video with all the Congress people and all that stuff, which was kind of cool. So we make our rounds. But anyways, we're going to end the show here. I do have to get to work early this morning. Hey, what's going on? Kenya from Cali. I haven't seen you in a while. Have you been in here? Are you just lurking? Good to see you, though. Either that or I made a statement. They're like, I got to get on and I got to chat. But it's good to see you. Look, I remember everybody. We have thousands of people that watch the show, and I know people's names. And when you're not here, I take attendance. I'm teasing. But it's really good to see you. I hope everything's going well. And that's the same for everybody in the chat. It is a blessing to be able to hang out with all of you every morning. It's not you hanging out with me. It's me hanging out with you. And I don't hang out with anybody. So this is my opportunity to really hang out with like-minded people. And that's why we do the show, man. To get the conservative thought and ideas and news out there to people. But man, I'm going to preach it, and I will preach it till even when we're millions of subscribers, hopefully one day. It's the community here that's different. It is. See, it has been a minute. See, I pay attention. You would think, God, a guy with 100,000 subscribers, how does he know that I'm not here? Because I love you guys. See, can I just say, I know I said I was going to go. Can I just point out again that that's how much I care about my audience? I know when people aren't here. I love you guys. I'm not beating you up. I'm just saying, like, I actually pay attention. You know, these content creators, they'll just do this. They don't know who's here or not here. And again, sometimes it gets hard when you have 10,000 people watching you. I get it. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. And I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. I appreciate you. You should call me Bud. All right. We're going to get out of here. Everybody have a blessed day. A dark MAGA today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to go over a few clips today. So probably not some, I mean, it's long form, but it's also not. So I want to go over some clips. I got some ideas. That's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Rumble Premium only. So we got to do our hours. Rumble Premium only. By the way, Kick is great with no freezes, just no chat, people. Yeah, I'm trying to get the Kick chat in with our chat. We'll see if we can get that kind of figured out, pizzazzed. But anyways, have a blessed day. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for people's health and safety and peace here on Earth. And I'll see you a little bit later today here on the Bubble Rat channel. Appreciate you.